Nothing about Uspsa or Uspsa is realistic. It's not representative of the amount of rounds fired. Good use and cover. Uspsa is better, in this regard at least. Worse yet, the safety Nazi atmosphere of this shit. I've literally been told not to bring my gun into my workspace to reload.
These high-speed low-drag shooting courses are cringe F.
Some crap those sport shooters do. I don't know, this is not tactically viable. Could you imagine trying to hold this ground control?
Greetings everyone and welcome again to Shooting Complex. We're going to be doing our second video now in our series about all of the different competitive leagues, formats, federations to help you, the audience, find one that's going to suit your needs, whether it be a training opportunity, you just want to be a better competitor, or you're just tired of punching paper, you want to have more fun. So let's focus today on the United States Practical Shooting Association, or better known as USPSA. This is the one that is the most serious amount of competition in. People go to USPSA to really test their stuff, their technical ability. People take it very seriously. So it might be the one for you if you are looking for a very challenging shooting format. Now, this past year, to see all of the different shooting styles and feds and match formats out there, I shot a huge variety. I've shot USPSA since 2020. Out of all of the ones that I've shot in this past year, this is the one that I go back to the most. USPSA is the format that I enjoy, so I am a little bit biased in that review, so take that for whatever it's worth, whatever that means to you. My focus for this match review today is going to be on what sets USPSA apart. What does it feel like to compete in one of its matches? What are the unique challenges that it presents? Now, I'll also go over a little bit of the different rules and the equipment divisions that it has, but I don't want to make that a prime focus. When you're going out to compete at a match, whatever federation or format or outlaw, whatever it may be, your focus should be on getting better, not the equipment race. It's very easy to sink a ton of money into all of this kind of stuff because owning gear it's cool. You know, as gun people, we like this kind of stuff. But you should really focus on your skills first. There's tons of people that come out with stock equipment and they do phenomenally. I've been humbled more times than I can think of by people that have come out with pretty basic stuff. It's very easy to make it seem like a gear race because USPSA as a sport has a lot to offer in terms of its equipment. We're going to take a look at a brief overview of all of the different equipment divisions, and I have brought 3 examples with me for us to check out. Carry optics. Currently in USPSA, it is one of the most popular, if not it is the most popular division at the moment. As you can see, what makes carry optics so popular is because it gives people exactly what they want. People want to shoot duty-style handguns. People want to shoot carry guns that allow slide-right optics, high-capacity magazines, 140 millimeter length in total, measured from top to bottom. Doesn't allow single-action only guns, which in my view is unfortunate, but that may change soon. USPSA, at the time of this video, has sent out something to membership to see if there's interest in it. Personally, I hope they do allow single-action only optics, single-action only guns. I think that's just an outdated thing. But it's no fancy stuff are allowed in this division. No ported barrels, no compensators, no flared magwells, no thumb rests, none of that stuff. Just pretty basic, kind of what you see right here. Production in USPSA. This used to be a very popular division, but people aren't attracted to it anymore. It's an iron sights only division. Magazines are limited to 10 rounds. This is the closest that USPSA has to a stock or factory division. I say it's the closest thing because there still is some modification allowed to these guns, and companies have also come out with guns that game the division. I don't personally have a problem with that, but typically you'll see stuff like Shadow, Shadow 2, Shadow 1s, Legions, things like that. So that's production. For our next example, we have limited division. This is the one that I've shot the most. It allows things like single action only, flared magwells, 140 millimeter mags. This is the irons race division, essentially. You can typically see competitors, they use things like custom 2011s. It allows for awesome stuff like sight blocks. Really cool division. I like to have fun with it, although I think the iron sights and the fact that you have to shoot 40 Smith & Wesson to get major power factor scoring is going to contribute to the decline of this division in the future. Though personally I like it, I'm under no illusion that irons are any way better than optics. That's just simply not true. Now, we also have open division. I don't have an example of this, but this is the one true race division in USPSA. You can have everything, 170 millimeter mags, ported barrels, compensators, flared mag wells, frame-mounted optics, thumb rests, slide rackers, all the cool stuff. I cannot wait personally to go into open division soon. We also have single stack, that's where all the traditional 1911s play. Revolver, pretty self-explanatory. PCCs, pistol caliber carbine, so even if you're not a handgun guy, you want to train your manual of arms, your technical skill with rifles, you can do so in USPSA. And of course, we have limited 10, which is limited division, but just limited to 10 rounds in each magazine. Now, let's talk a little bit about a belt setup. The belt setup is where USPSA really shows its uniqueness because it has a lot of match, dedicated race equipment. Like, for example, this is my limited belt setup. I've got a race holster here, race mag pouches that you can angle in all sorts of ways, in ways that you'd find optimal. Allows awesome things like magnets. These race pouches and magnets are allowed in the more divisions now. They've opened them up to production, carry optics, all that good stuff. I think this is cool. I like the race. I like the gaming aspect of USPSA. It may not appeal to you, and I understand a lot of people want to find a match or federation where it's a training opportunity. That's cool too. If this stuff doesn't appeal to you, you can still compete in USPSA using duty-style gear, and it will be just as viable. Let's get into some footage and talk more about what does it feel like to compete in USPSA to help you decide if this is something that you would like to try out for yourself. Let's get into some footage and talk more about what does it feel like to compete in USPSA to help you decide if this is something that you would like to try out for yourself. While we're taking a look at some of my USPSA footage, let's talk about the range commands, basic safety, scoring, and then get to the feeling and the overall of what makes USPSA USPSA. Starting with the range commands, USPSA has a very consistent, defined set of range commands that you will hear exactly the same from club to club, match to match. And this is a tremendous strength that USPSA draws from. Many different other formats and federations should really learn from this. USPSA, at the beginning of a match, has a make ready, are you ready, and stand by. Everybody knows what to expect from these. USPSA also has another strength with its safety. It is the 180-degree rule, which is not something that is unique to USPSA, but it's common in many shooting formats and rule sets because it is a safety best practice. If you don't know what it is, it's an imaginary line that's parallel with the backstop or the back of a range, that if your muzzle of your gun ever intersects with this, you're going to be disqualified because you risk pointing your gun at spectators, creating a major safety hazard. USPSA is scored with a system that is called hit factor. Hit factor is the amount of points that you've scored divided by your time, and you get a points per second. Your points per second, if you are a gamer, is basically your DPS. This aspect of the sport, I was not expecting to be as deep as it is. My JRPG fans, I know you are in my audience. You will be 100% delighted with the spreadsheet aspect of this system. The scoring system rewards speed and accuracy with an emphasis on the speed. High hit factor stages favor the speed. Low hit factor stages favor accuracy. And after you compete a while, you get a feel for which stages are high hit factor, which stages are low. Small, short courses of fire tend to be higher hit factor stages. Longer ones tend to be lower hit factor stages. Another aspect of scoring is major and minor scoring. Major is a scoring advantage with 5 points for Alpha, 4 points for Charlie, and 2 points for Delta. Open, limited, single stack, revolver, and limited 10 can take advantage of this scoring. In limited, there is a minimum caliber, which is 40 cal or 357 SIG. Contrasted with this in open, it's the minimum of 112 grain bullet. To get an idea for how much you have to overclock 9x19 to make open, it would be a 124 grain projectile moving around 1,400 feet per second. Everybody else, all the other divisions in USPSA, They have to have minor scoring. They don't get the option, which is 5 points for an Alpha, 3 points for Charlie, and 1 point for Delta. What does a USPSA match consist of? What does it feel like to compete in it? And what makes USPSA USPSA? The competition can be very serious in USPSA, and to me, this is a strength, because if you want to focus on better shooting skills, this is basically it. Best shooters in the United States all compete here, and you'll be quick to be humbled. There is very little physical strength or endurance to this sport. It's not that big of a component. It is more of a mental game that requires you to perform on demand as soon as the buzzer goes off. The basic USPSA gameplay loop is this. For every match, you'll typically have around 5 to 6 stages. Of course, this is going to depend locally how many they can put on. For each stage, you're going to have to develop a plan. It is completely incumbent on the competitor to devise a plan that they think is going to be the best one. And this is what makes it such a mental challenge. You have to dedicate a lot of focus remembering what your plan is and how to execute it. For every stage, you get to develop your own stage plan, and you have to rehearse it mentally, pantomiming it, and then when it's your turn to compete, you have to perform it for real. All of this contributes to a much more serious and competitive atmosphere in USPSA, and you can expect to be nervous for the first time you can compete. Other matches and federations I found to be more casual. This is like playing ranked mode, and it really is playing ranked mode because USPSA has ranks called classifications. And people that like the data aspect of this sport has found that your class is pretty indicative of where you're going to place in a major match. If you don't know what a major match is, that is like your state, regional, national level matches. People are friendly, but at higher level matches, people are more hesitant to share out stage plans. It's taken much more seriously. That can be off-putting to some. Local matches tend to be more welcoming, at least in my experience. This is really going to depend on the local gun club and the community and the culture that's kind of putting it on. In my experience, an older crowd tend to get drawn to USPSA in comparison to some of the other formats that I've shot, like Two Gun Action Challenge. It's a sport that you can pour a lot of money into, and I think that's what contributes to the age being overall a little bit higher. It's definitely a barrier of entry, in my view, to younger gun enthusiasts who are not developed in their career. Another factor that contributes to the cost-prohibitive nature of USPSA is that if you want to compete in open or limited or another division that allows major power factor scoring, you basically have to reload. There is no way that you're going to be able to buy off-the-shelf factory ammo 9 for open division that can go 1,400 feet per second because you're pushing a gun to its limit. You have to invest in reloading equipment for this if you want to compete long-term and make a lot of savings. That's also another dimension of technical knowledge that you're going to have to engage yourself in. If you're inexperienced to reloading, you're going to probably squib a lot, potentially put yourself at risk. There is a knowledge level limit that you're going to have to overcome, not only to competing now, but to just be a better reloader and have proficient ammunition that's match ready. USPSA at its heart is a game. You are not going to learn how to be better at CQB or small unit tactics or anything like that. When you come out, your technical ability to shoot is what is going to be tested. People come to these matches in jerseys, race equipments, open holsters, magazine pouches, oriented in ways that competitors find optimal to themselves. And it contributes to a gamer aspect of it. No one cares about taking cover or engaging targets in a tactical way. For those of you that are looking to train tactical, this intrinsic gamer quality of USPSA might be unappealing. However, if you're just looking to get better at shooting, if you're curious about whether this format is for you, or you want to get serious, you can find matches in your area by logging on to Practice Score and registering. And I would encourage you to give this a shot. Thank you so much for listening today. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that very good stuff. It is real kinetic night hours. All right, Buster. I got a spreadsheet of all of you that think you're kinetic, but you're not. Better leave a comment if you are. It really helps with the engagement, and I actually really appreciate it because these videos take so long for me to make. But I love making them because I find it fun and they help a lot of people. And if it helped you, I hope it did. So thank you so much again. From me to my dearest audience, enjoy yourselves.